Welcome to Oracle SQL and PLSQL session. Hello everyone, very good morning and good evening to all. Next topic is called exceptions. So what is exceptions? Okay, sometimes you are having very big SQL statement. Okay, very big SQL statement you are writing, PLSQL statement. You are writing begin here and you are writing end. And if you have any declaration part, you'll be declaring here, right? So declare and begin and end. So within this begin and end, you'll be having some executable statement. Okay, say for an example, you have the statement 1, you are executing. Statement 2, you are executing. Statement 3. So you have a lot of statements. If all the statement, if it is executing fine, that's fine. But if any one statement, say for an example, you are executing the statement, it is getting errored out. So what will happen? If it is errored out, it will check whether we are handling this particular exceptions. So you remember try catch block, try catch, something like that in Java or any programming language will have try catch, right? Java, we have try catch block, right? So you try this. If any exception happening, you go to this particular block. So try and catch it. This is what we'll have. So you can, if you want to handle this particular error, if you don't handle it, this particular program will stop abruptly. Okay, so it will middle of the code, it will be stopped, but we have to handle it. So you can go for the one called exceptions. You remember very first time itself I have explained this exception is like not a mandatory one, optional one. So within this, you'll be writing when some exception error code, the exception name will be there. So with that exception name, you can print something. Okay, so print here. Okay, you can inform the user that so because of this exceptions, it is failing. So you can handle it. So you can handle it. You can use some go-to statement. You can go to the particular statement. If anything error happened, you can go to the particular statement. See what the compiler will do. If any error is happening here, it will shift this one to an exception. Whatever the error we are getting here, okay, some error will be getting. So that error will check here whether we are using that error. If it is not there, then it will show like exception is happened. It will print exception is happened. If you have handled here, so by default, we'll go for one unnamed exceptions. So that means we have two types of exceptions, named exceptions, unnamed exceptions. So this is called exceptions. Exceptions are, there are two types. One is predefined exceptions. It will be handled by Oracle. If there is no predefined exceptions, I want to go for customized exception handling, then I can go for user defined exceptions. This is implicit exception. This is called explicit exceptions. Implicit means Oracle itself, it will throw exceptions. Explicit exception, we are creating it. In this, we do have two types of exception. One is named exception. Another one is unnamed exceptions. What is named exception? See, Oracle has some around 25 to around 15 to 25 named exceptions will be there here. If you check here, named exception will be there. Whenever exception is happening, your Oracle code, Oracle compiler will go and check this exception name, whether you are using this exception in the exception handling block. Okay, if there is no exception is mentioned, at least you have to mention the exception with unnamed exception called others. Okay, if you are using others, so that is called unnamed exceptions. So any abnormal condition that interrupt the normal flow of execution of your program instructions at runtime is an exception. So in Oracle, we have predefined exceptions and user-defined exception. So predefined exception is Oracle will take care. User-defined exception is explicitly we are giving the exceptions. Okay, we are handling it. So what is predefined exception? It's a system-defined exception or already defined, maintained implicitly by Oracle, like implicit exceptions. We have two types of exception here, named exceptions, unnamed exceptions. Wherever you are seeing others keyword, so that is unnamed exceptions. Okay, so named exception means, say for an example, I will take this scenario. I'll go and accept, run this. So what we are doing, declare v underscore salary. It's a number data type. So just I'm taking this v underscore salary. Just I'm printing zero divide error. So if I'm going to run this particular code, you'll be getting error here, right? Error here. So what is the error number? 01476. Whether we have any exception, predefined exception 01476. If it is there, we can handle it. Yes, we have, right? So zero divide. The exception name is called zero divide. If I want to handle it, this is called named exceptions. If you want to handle it, I do not want to go for something like errored out. I want to handle it in the PLSQL code, then I can use this like this. Okay, like this. If you are using like this is called named exceptions. Zero divide is a name exceptions, others is called unnamed exceptions. So I'm just both, I'm handling it. If any other exception is happening, so this one I'm just creating it and I'm going to do it. Showing like a divisor is equal to 0, operation is not allowed. Okay, so I'm using this one. Now, do we have employees backup table? I think no. So if any other exception is happening, okay, so when others, so this is also ORA hyphen 00942. So this is not happening here. Right, table or view does not exist. Okay, so 09942 we have 942. But if you see this is not going to this particular exception handling block. Okay, there is no zero divide and others also it's not happening. So that's why we are getting this table or view does not exist. Actually, the table or view does not exist. So that we are handling it. So if you are defining correctly the keyword, then it will be handled. So you can use you can check. So what is this particular corresponding exception name? If any exception is happening, it will be passed to the particular exception handling. It will be processed. So if you remember for this, if you see this cursor one, while taking the cursor one, I have taken the first one, something like exception handling, right? If you see this, I'm just running this. If you are using one single record where employee ID equal to 220, actually this is not available. This 220 is not available. If you don't use it, handling exceptions, then you are getting this error 01403. 01403. So you can check here 0141403. No data found. So we have to use this one. No data found, right? Yes. If you are using that particular name, no data found. If there is no data found, this it will be executed. Too many rows, then it will be executed. When others, any other errors, then others will be captured. Unnamed exceptions. You can see here, this will give you no data found for this employee. It is not getting errored out. It has been handled. But I'm going for too many rows. So now if any exception is happening, this control will be given to the exception handling. It will check whether no data found, no. Too many rows, yes. Then it will be printed here. See here, this time it is printing. Many rows are returned from the base table, right? So that's what the exceptions should be handled. So these exceptions are Oracle predefined exceptions. So we have some 25 to latest exception, Oracle predefined exception sheet you can download. And if you are using this way, this is called Oracle predefined exceptions. Something like value error. Okay, say for an example here, you might be getting value error. So what is value error? So value error means number one, I'm taking number of two, but I'm taking 5 numbers. So it is value error. This error name is called value error. When value error, then you are printing this way, right? When value error, then you are printing error. But you are going for something like a different one. See, cursor I'm using. Cursor C1. So what is the error I will get it? So cursor I'm using here. But the thing is, I just declare the cursor. I haven't opened the cursor. Before opening, I'm just closing. So it will throw error like invalid cursor. Okay. So invalid cursor. Then if it is throwing this particular error, invalid cursor, we have something. Yes. 01001. Invalid cursor error exception happened. Check the code. This one we have written. So this will be handled here. So like this, for the different type of error, you can use this particular Oracle predefined one. Just you can handle it. But some exceptions will not have any name. Okay, you can see here some table. I'm just creating one table, customer. Drop table. If any table is there, I'm just dropping it. I'm going to drop the table called the customer. I'm just creating with number of 10. Okay, so I'm going to insert the data into this values, some more values, more than 10. So what is the error you will get? Value larger than specified precision allowed for this column. So you are getting 000, right? And also 01438. So do we have anything 01438? 01438. No, right? Yes, this is called unnamed exceptions. So in order to handle this unnamed exceptions, if I want to give a name for this unnamed exceptions, for an example like this, I have to give a name for this unnamed exception, invalid cursor, login denied, no data found, something. If I want to give a name for this unnamed exceptions, you can use this way. Okay, you can use keyword called pragma exception init. It is nothing but you are providing a name for the unnamed exception. There is no name for this exceptions. Value for largest specified, right? There is no name for that exception. To, to handle that particular exception, we are using. So we can use others. Say for an example, we can use others here. See here, this is called unnamed exceptions. If you want to handle it, you can handle like others, right? So if any error is happening, so it will be handled by others block, and it is showing like string. But others is not a named block, right? Named exceptions. It is unnamed exceptions. For this kind of exception, if I want to give a name for this particular exceptions, I have to use the keyword called pragma exception init. Okay, so what is the keyword? Pragma exception init. So this one you have to use pragma exception init. So you have to use this name. Okay, so the name of the exceptions, exception customer ID value limit. I'm giving. So this is like exception. I'm declaring it. I'm using that. Okay, I want to give a name, giving the name, and I'm giving one particular number for that. Have you seen that? So here previously it has this number 01438. The same number I have given. While executing this one, it will throw error like it has been handled. When this error happened, it is printing. So if you want to print this number, yes, you can print the number here. So ORA something you can print, but it has been handled. So this way you can handle unnamed. So if you want to give try catch block, we do not have. That's why we have begin. So begin is nothing but try. If any exception happening, catch it here. That's what exception. We do not have any try catch. It is similar to Java. I have explained. In Java, we have try catch, but here we do not have try catch. Then we have user defined exceptions. Say for an example, I want to raise an exceptions for my customized problem, customized one. I have to raise a exceptions. So how can I raise it? See here, it is giving you the error like table or view does not exist 00942 table or view does not exist. I'm going to insert the value, not enough values. So these are all Oracle predefined one, right? So it will be available up to this number. So how many digit? 5-digit number. So if you want to give our own number, then we have to give the number from 2000, this number. Okay, if you see this, I will explain. I'm just creating one table called employee exceptions, employee ID, employee name. Just I'm creating one table. Okay. Alter table name, add primary key. So I'm just altering it, adding a primary key. And I'm going here. So what is this? If you are adding a primary key on this table, index will automatically created, right? Index will be created and create or replace procedure name. Add new employee. Employee ID input parameter first name I'm passing to this column. Insert into table name, employee ID and employee name values I'm passing commit exception. I'm using exception duplicate value on index and then duplicate value on index. This is exception normal named exception only. Then I'm using. So here I'm raising application error. Application error. I'm just raising it by saying this number. You are trying to insert duplicate value some employee ID. Okay, so I'm going to compile it. It's add employee, right? EXEC add employee. So I'm employee ID. I'm just giving and employee name. Okay, so some name I'm just giving. You can use some begin and end also. So I'm just using that. It should be loaded. Select start from. It should not get any error out, right? So I'm just using this. It has been inserted. And one more time I'm trying to insert it. What will happen? So we are getting error customized one, right? ORA-20001. You are trying to insert a duplicate record. I'm raising an exception. Myself, I'm raising the exception, right? So for the customized one, this scenario, I'm using it. So even I'm raising customized one by using this named exceptions. Named exception only, but I'm raising it. Okay. I'm not handling it. I'm just raising the exceptions. So here, if I want to handle it, or if I want to raise it any other scenario, then you can use this way. Say for an example, raising an exceptions. This is what you can raise it. Raise application name. If condition you can use. Okay, so I will take this one. Employee union exception. Employee ID, first name. Same table I will take. Okay. Same table I will take. Employee union exceptions. But this table insert into employee exception. This table itself I will take. Employee ID, first name I have to pass. If employee ID is less than 100, I'm raising an error. exceptions. Okay, so here I have to define it, declare it, and I have to raise it. Else I'm just inserting it. End if. When this error is happening, raise application error that please enter email ID is greater than 100. Okay, so I'm raising an exceptions for my customized one. Okay, so first name is invalid identifier. Sorry, I forgot what is the name of the column I have given. EMP name, right? So EMP name, EMP ID. EMP name. Okay, I will compile it. It has been compiled. So now I will go and execute this one. Okay, so I'm trying to execute exec name employee ID. If it is less than 100, it will not be executed, right? It will not be inserted. 101. So just I'm giving this. So successfully compiled. But if I'm giving 11, okay, it should throw error that please enter the employee ID is greater than 100. So explicitly, I'm just raising an exceptions. Okay, I'm raising an exceptions. So here I'm not handling it. I'm just raising an exceptions. So that is what raising, how to raise exceptions. If anything happen, how to raise it. If you're giving this way, yes, this is the way it will raise it. And in exceptions, they'll be asking questions like what is SQL code? What is SQL error M? Okay, this one error ERRM. SQL code is nothing but it returns number code of the most recent exceptions. See, whatever we are saying this one, this is a number code. This is the error message. Okay, so ORA something we are saying here, right? These are all the number code. So user defined one, you have to start from this number only. Oracle predefined one, 002 up to this number, it will be available. Whatever you are saying here, these numbers are from user defined one. Okay, if you see this code, whatever here we are saying, 0 divide by error. When 0 divide error, just I'm printing what is the SQL message. What is the SQL error code? Error message, error code. So error message is ORA-01476. Divisor is equal to 0. Error code is this one. So 1476. See, sometimes they will ask what is this error code and error message, all this. So you can explain this. If they are using any PLSQL code, so definitely they'll be using exception handling. Or they might be explicitly raising an exceptions by declaring the exception here. It's like they want to raise exceptions for their particular project, just they will raise it this way.